All right, everybody. So I want to welcome y'all to the Spartan Connection series with the Office of Student Activities and Leadership at Norfolk State University. We have some special people here with us tonight. So I want to welcome y'all. So I'm excited. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to let them introduce themselves first. So we'll start with who I can see. So let's go ahead and start with John first.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jonathan Holmes. I also go by just John. I am a Newport News native, graduated from Heritage High School and attended Norfolk State University. And I was also in the concert choir and the jazz choir.
All right. Cool. So next we'll go with Denise. We got to get you to unmute. There we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Denise Nicole Battle. I go by Denise_Nicole B as you see on the screen. I'm a native of Portsmouth, Virginia. Born and raised in 757. I went to Churchland High School. Then I went to Norfolk State University, where I was blessed to sing in the Norfolk State University Concert Choir, Spartan Chorale, Vocal Jazz Ensemble. Just being around my NSU choir family was wonderful. And I'm glad to be here with my fellow colleagues.
All right. So next we'll go with Ashley Felder.
I'm muted.
Oh, there you go.
Can
We can hear you.
Okay. Yes. Hello, my name is Ashley Felder. I hail from Baltimore, Maryland. I too went to Norfolk State University. I was honored to be under the direction of Dr. Carl Haywood in the concert choir, as well as Spartan Chorale. What else? Okay, part of the Lenro chapter of Sigma Alpha the International Music Fraternity for Women, as well as the Zeta Gamma chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
All right. So next we'll go with Courtney Bailey, but she goes by Coco Bay.
Hey y'all, am I okay?
Yep, we can hear
you. Hey y'all, my name is Coco Bay. Well, I go by Coco Bay. I am an independent recording artist based out of the DMV area. I went to Oxon Hill High School, and in SU I graduated a while ago. Let me see, what was I did concert choir. And anybody honestly that's been in concert choir for real for your 4 years knows that that's pretty much the only thing that you can do. So I was there all 4 years. And what else am I supposed to say? My major was music media, emphasis in voice with a minor in piano, but I don't play. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I haven't seen these faces in such a long time, aside from FaceTime and Instagram, but like to just be in conversation with everybody, I'm just so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too because I haven't seen y'all in a while, and you all are school together, so that's what makes it a fun. All right, y'all. So we're gonna jump right in to the Spartan Connection series, and we have some people in the chat already. Mikhail is in there. He's saying, "What's up, Spartans?" We all know Mikhail White.
Play for probably
he played for all of us, literally.
Yeah. Right. Everybody out the performance workshops.
I mean, seriously. I mean, has the sweetest heart ever.
Yes. Can pick up like that.
Right. Always.
Yeah, I was about to say, he not one of the ones that like, just play like, oh, I play for you and be no, like he actually like, yeah. Good man.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into one of the first questions. So the first question is audition processes. So anybody can jump in and just tell about your audition process, anything that you've auditioned for, how it went, what you did to prepare. So whoever wants to jump in, feel free to jump in.
Denise.
They volunteered you to go first.
Well then, okay. So like Courtney, Coco Bay has it. I had a major in music education, emphasis in voice. So I wanted. John, had your hand raised. What's wrong? Everything okay? Okay. He had his hands raised. But I majored in music education, emphasis in voice. So I wanted to sing opera So after I graduated, I auditioned for Virginia Opera Chorus, and that is where I was my first foot and my first experience into the opera world because thankfully coming from Norfolk State, I was blessed to learn musicianship, artistry, performance, writing skills with the choir. I learned this reading skills. But as a soloist, an opera singer, I didn't have a lot of experience to bring into my journey post graduating. So that's where Virginia Opera came in. And speaking of the audition process, I'm not going to say it's kind of like, but they post, announcements, whichever opera company that you're interested in, kind of like other companies. If you're interested, we have auditions, this date, contact this email. So that's what I did. I was nervous, of course, because it was my first opera role, but I said, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to know what I'm capable of, what my competition is, and just overall experience auditioning. And one thing I will say for persons who are still in school and nervous about auditioning, do it for the experience. Don't go in thinking you have to be perfect. Just be yourself, show up as your best self. So that's what I did. And I showed up that day, and they do one by one persons to come in. Most of the time, you do not know the persons that you're singing for. You don't know the person that is going to play for you. So your goal is to have your music ready, stone cold. So whatever happens, if you have a cold, if you have a fever, God forbid, or something tragic happens to where you have to get yourself ready in 5 minutes and go out and do your thing, you're ready to go out and do your thing. So I did like this real easy Italian piece. And I sang, and they said, well, thank you. Do you have another selection? And another piece of advice I want to give, always prepare 2 songs when you audition. Always have like something that shows off your versatility and what you can do. So that was what I did. I had, and I think I did Summertime from Porgy and Bess. And so after that, they said, thank you for coming. And they gave us a time frame when we would hear back. So we heard back probably within a week or 2 weeks. So thank you for coming. So that was my first taste. I don't want to talk too much. I want my other choir family to speak, but that's in essence, a nutshell of my first audition with Virginia Opera.
Well, before we go in, have you had any like major auditions?
I did. I had a couple. My first one in 2016 was Hamilton.
Okay.
Me and a couple friends drove up to DC, and we took the what is the name of that bus? Metro? I can't even remember. Forgive me. Megabus. Lord.
Megabus. Okay.
Megabus. So we took the Megabus. We drove to DC. We got there at like 4 o'clock because the Megabus was going to leave at 6 o'clock, and the audition was no. I'm sorry. Anyway, for sake of time, we left DC very, very early so we could get to New York City by 6 a.m. because the audition was going to be like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. and it's open call. Anybody who knows about open call knows that that's open free game for anybody because now auditions are open. Anybody from anywhere can come and audition. So we drove up to, took the Megabus, went up to New York City, stood in line for 6 hours because there was a lot of people. It was raining. We were like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. So we were able to get in. They have a holding room where they keep people who want to audition, and you put your stuff down. You can't bring your stuff into the audition room. So you just pray nobody takes your stuff. So you go in, they put you in groups. Yeah, it was like that. So I had to like really, we kept like personal belongings wherever. So we get to the actual room, and most of the time, y'all, with these open call auditions, you only have 2 minutes. So you got to bring your best in 2 minutes, like the climax of the song that shows your best. Prepare that, have that ready. So I go in. I think I did 1+1 from Beyonce. So I did that little piece, and they were like, "Oh, do you have anything else?" Yeah, of course. And they cut me off in like a minute. So they said, "Thank you, you have a beautiful voice." Y'all, that was the last I heard. That was in 2016. I didn't hear nothing else. So I had to go in with the satisfaction that I did my best because sometimes you're not going to hear anything. And then I don't know if you want to talk about the Met or not. Metropolitan Opera Chorus.
We'll come back. We'll talk about it there. All right. Does anybody else want to jump in about any, audition processes?
Jump.
They're nominating you, John.
Ashley, what are y'all? Oh, y'all on mute.
gotta unmute me.
I think you unmuted now. Yeah, you good.
I'm trying to
Yeah, you good. We can hear you.
hear me now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Denise, I definitely feel you on this the 6 to 7 hours. Oh my God. My second time trying out for Voice is the one that I made it. So I had to go through that process twice. The first time I was in New York City, and the line was wrapped around the whole entire convention center that I was at. Maryland was no different. I mean, wrapped around the whole building. Everybody's got hot cocoa and tea in their hands, and they're trying to stay warm because it's February and we're in Maryland and it's cold. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Get to the room, you audition in front of about 15 people. Everybody in front of everybody. I was fortunate to go last in my heat for last one, and then COVID happened after I did my audition. So basically, they took it upon themselves to pick who they wanted to be on the show. No more auditioning, no more hearing your voice, everybody. And it was the top like 86 people. So from 86, they got to cut down to 40. So I was fortunate to be able to go like day 4. And I think it was only like maybe like 4 or 5 slots left. And I was fortunate to make it. Blake picked me, and it was just, I mean, you just got to believe in yourself. I mean, because I heard a lot of strong singers going that I was going up against, and it was just like, it was intimidating. But I mean, being in Norfolk State, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's just the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't worry about what somebody else is doing. You got to do your best at what you do and how you do it. You know what I'm saying? So I took that mindset into there. I took that mindset in there, and I ended up coming out. So I would just say strive for greatness and believe in yourself. Whenever it comes to auditions, just lay it all out there on the line. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just put yourself out there. For sure.
All right. Anybody else want to jump in? Ashley, you want to jump in?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, she went back on mute. Tell her to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello. Okay. I agree too with Denise and John. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
shoot. All right. Again, I agree with Denise and John. I would definitely say being a part of Norfolk State Concert Choir, just being at Norfolk State really prepared us for these type of situations. When we talk about auditions, I think it's funny to me at times, my experiences with them. I have auditioned a couple of times for certain platforms. And actually, this last particular audition that I had, COVID came into play. And with that, because of COVID, they had to make different cuts. And I made up until like almost the last, and then I got cut on the last one. And it was a life lesson. It's about taking risks. Um, it's beyond the thing of a lot of people do it, just like to, okay, I just want to do TV. I just want to do this. But honestly, this was something for me to do because I didn't honestly believe that I could, and it was something for me to, as a life lesson rather, to just go ahead and do it. I mean, this is what you prepare for, this is what you live for, They either say yes or they're either going to say no. And I mean, whichever you go with it, at the end of the day, you still know that you did everything that you possibly can do, and you still know your worth, you still know your value. So it takes sacrifice, of course. It's uncomfortable. But I always say, and it's like Denise and John said, you bring your all. Like, you bring it like it's going to be your last. Like, you do it to the best of your ability, and it is what it is. You walk off and you just like, all right, I did what I did, and I'm happy with it. So, yeah.
Anybody else want to jump in?
Courtney, Coco Bay. Coco Bay.
Hey, Coco Bay, let's see what you got.
Okay. I was trying to get my mutes right. I'm like mesmerized listening to y'all stories. Like I'm like, oh my gosh. First of all, I don't have the patience to stay at anybody's line for no 6 to 7 hours. And second, I'm a Leo, and like I'm very prideful, and I don't. John is cracking up. I'm serious. Like I'm very prideful, and I don't have the I don't know what the word is, but it's almost like I kind of feel like, who are you to tell me if I'm good or not? Like, so for real, like I've always been a stickler for just kind of, like you guys said, just believing in myself and like just doing my own thing. Like the audition process, I respect it. I love it for other people. You guys know, like I'm a big cheerleader for my friends and family. But I just don't see myself being like an audition person. I'm just, I don't know. Maybe it's like a fear of rejection, or I don't know. I'm just like, I'll do it on my own. Like that's kind of like how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm like mesmerized. Like I was sitting here like, oh my God, y'all had to go through that. And I was walking around the building. Let me tell y'all, if I go to fast food and it's too many people, I'll be like, I'll starve. Forget it. I'm not. It's not my thing. Like, but I think it's something to be said. Like I admire. Seriously, I admire the fact that like you guys, like we all have this passion and this dream and this gift, and you guys go after it, or you guys go after it in the best way that you see fit for yourself. And me too. Like I don't really see the audition process as being something for me. Not right now anyway. I don't know. I can't do it.
Okay.
Can I say something? I'm glad you said that, because everybody's journey is different, and like you said, everybody doesn't do it because everybody else is doing it. Like for you saying that, because people may come up to you and tell this is the voice or American Idol. You're like, no, I'm fine. I'm secure doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
You let that speak. So thank you for saying that, and other people hear that to make sure that.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk about audition process. How what type of advice would you give? Some of y'all kind of gave it already. Advice for rejection. Because we have a lot of young up and coming artists who audition and they get rejected and they kind of shut down. So what type of advice would you give? Anybody feel free to. Oh, Ashley, go ahead.
I can start. I'll honestly say, and Coco Bay is one of my best friends, so I talk to her almost every day, and she can kind of attest to this. My last audition scenario, and once the rejection happened, I actually was upset. I felt the way. I was in my bag, and the reason why was because I literally just gave up everything. Like I literally sacrificed it all. Like I put my all in, and I mean, I'm talking to her like, yo, I did this, I sold my stuff in my house. Like I ain't signed my lease, you know what I'm saying? Renew my lease, like I'm out, and when I got the call of like, the same call of, hey, yes, let's do it. It was like, hey, sorry, but I was upset, but I had to get over it. So my advice is it's okay to react and be in your feelings and to feel and to emote, but at the same time, do not allow that experience to discourage you. The greatest musicians, the superheroes that we talk about, or all the greatest heroes, they have failures.
Yeah.
And I've learned that all L's are not considered as loss, it's considered as lessons learned, right? And if you actually put one L and another L together, it becomes a W, right? So with that, take that as literally, it's almost like, the old saying, eat the meat and spit out the bone. It is what it is, it's life, literally. And I've learned to have that moment. It's life. It's okay. You got a right to be upset, but you're still who you are. Okay. Not your loss, their loss. It is what it is, and even in that, not even of their loss, but it wasn't meant at that moment. Take what was meant at that moment. It was meant for you to live in that moment, to gain from whatever that moment was, and keep it moving. I mean, seriously, because it's possible for you to sit in it and stay, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So that's um, my TED talk with that.
All right. Does anybody else want to jump in? Feel free.
I guess to echo what Ashley said, oh my God, I'm sitting here like, yes, sis, it's resonating with me too. That was, I also, I would say, have a strong support system. You know how she said she has Courtney as one of her best friends. It's very important to have those people that will cheer you on no matter what, whether you make it or you don't make it, who know you before you were, singing all over the place, before you were auditioning, who know you for you and say, this is what you were made to do. This doesn't define you. And also use that opportunity. If you have, I know COVID is happening, but sometimes some of my greatest musical networks happened when I met people at the audition, whether or not I made it. And so sometimes what happens when I was rejected, like from Hamilton, I was like, well, I met this person there, so I can try to use that as a plus, as from that experience. And just really speak positive affirmations into yourself afterwards. Like Ashley said again, it's not your loss, it's their loss or the wrong timing. God just doesn't have you at that space. So that's what I have to say, my little tidbit.
Cool. All right. So let's go into all of you are artists and performers. Let's talk about rehearsal process. How do you prepare for rehearsals? And how does Courtney, you're independent, actually do some things independent. John, how do you all, how do rehearsals go for you all? How do y'all run them? How do y'all prepare for them? So whoever wants to jump in, go for it.
I can start. Kind of like starting with the independent.
Yes, breathe for us, sis.
Okay, because it's a lot. Starting with the independent thing, I kind of had this vision of like how things would go. I kind of was like, okay, I'm done with school. I'm going to get me a little job to get me some coinage coming in, and I'll use that money to fund my dream. And that with coming to Norfolk State, I felt like, first of all, I was like in a space where we all were kind of like-minded. And so I just kind of had the mentality that that would be what it is, outside of Norfolk State. And that's not how it was. So firstly, before I even get into the rehearsal process, it's about finding those people that are like-minded to help you to not only reach your dreams, but people that you're able to help as well, so that there is some type of mutual benefit. But jumping into rehearsals, I go in with a very open mind. I go in having listened to very intently all of my music, knowing for the most part what it is that I want to happen, while also leaving space for creatives to create. I work with a band of guys now who I trust very much so. One of my best friends, Genesis, Mike Turner, we grew up together. So he knows me very well. He knows the things that I like, the things that I don't like musically. And I trust him with my music. So that part has been a blessing for me. I don't really have to worry too much. I just come in confidently knowing what it is that I want and just basically do my thing. And like I said, also I told y'all I'm a Leo, so I'm kind of like I want things like this, I want things like that, but at the same time just recognizing that okay, there is someone in the room that I trust. And the person that I trust is the lead of this band. You know what I mean? So allow for the creatives to be creative.
Okay. Anybody else? From rehearsals and how you plan for them and how they go? I think Ashley is coming back on too. Oh, go ahead. Uh-oh. John was talking and we lost him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so John was talking, but Ashley, can you talk about like your rehearsal process and how it goes and how you prepare?
Ooh, sure. So first things first, like I have a moment of just observing my audience, like, specifically like what this show, this set is going to be about, like what I'm trying to, what picture I'm trying to paint, and what journey I'm trying to take them on. Um, Sometimes I'll, do covers. Sometimes I'll just do original music. Sometimes I'll do both. So I think about that first. Actually, like, depending on the platform of it, if it's like series or if it's been happening in series, I go back and study who's been on, that platform or who's done that particular show or in that venue, just to kind of see like, what type of crowd it is and things like that. Then after that, I start having like my planning process and I'm just jotting things down. And once I jot things down, honestly, I just walk away from it for a while, just to kind of disconnect. And then once I disconnect, I come back to it. Definitely talk to the band, see like, talk to them, let them know certain arrangements that I want, or just ideas out there for them to, bring in some type of ideas they have as well. And we just collaborate together. Um, I will say when it gets to like the rehearsal performance moments, like there are times where I'm just completely quiet. I mean, quiet, like quiet. And it's because I literally don't want to distract myself or have any distractions. And I even quiet myself to the point where, like for certain times, I might wear like the same known outfit. It's funny because I wear some sweats and my favorite cardigan. So I don't even distract myself with what I have on thinking about that because I'm really trying to be focused. And during rehearsal, sometimes I can be I'll say this, I was privileged to be under Dr. Carl Haywood. So during rehearsal moments, that's the time where we need to get done. So by any means necessary. There are times to be like, yes, guys, like yes, and then be like, yo, like what you doing? And I can be saying this to myself or to members in the band, whatever the case may be, but it's really trying to get it done because it's not for me at this moment, it's for the audience. And I never want to waste anybody's time. And the fact that they're taking time out to even allow me to be on stage, they're taking time out to even listen to what, I want to do, what I have to say, what I'm singing, what I'm expressing, even for the band members to be able, to be willing to be a part of this set with me. I don't want to waste anyone's time. So, it's literally I sit down, I think, I observe, I walk away, I disconnect, and then I allow myself to connect back. I talk to the band, I connect with them, I try to see what their thoughts and their
Oh, we lost her mid mid talk. So let's see. I think she's gonna come back in. So John, okay, here we go. Here's Ashley. Sorry, y'all, we got some technical stuff happening, but that happens. And as performers, and we know how to deal with stuff like this. We know how to make it work. And that's these things happen, but clearly you see how we just kept on going,
Can you all hear me? I don't know what's going on with this signal. I don't go through this.
Kept on
But
going
yeah, I
down.
was just saying, yours is going in and out as well. Yeah. Was somebody else talking when mine fell out?
Oh no, you're good. We were just,
But yeah, I just make sure that I'm not wasting my audience time. I make sure that I cater to them. Because like I said, it's not about me, it's about them at that moment. So I'm very focused when it comes down to it. But at the same time, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying myself though, because I want them to see the authenticity of me. I want them to see me. I want to be transparent in my music, so I don't want it to look like, oh, she's just doing this because she wanted us to like it. No, I mean, of course I want you to like it, but I know you're going to like it. That's number one. I know you're going to like it. I just want to make sure it's presented to you, in the way where you can understand me. You get what I'm saying? I want to show you that I have studied you to present to you for you to be able to understand me, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
Come on, man. Preach.
Come on. All right. So John, let's talk about you and rehearsals. How does that go for you? Yeah, we got Cassandra up here with the
I
prayer.
feel like I am very spontaneous. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Say yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna just keep going. Rehearsals for me are spontaneous. I don't like to stay in the same place time. I'm all over the place times, and I mean, I'm doing music on stage. But most of the time, if I'm practicing and I'm really, what I'm saying, structuring things the right way, it normally turns out right. But I have a tendency to just try things, just be out there. And Roger Brown knows this. He can't stand it about me, but he loves it at the same time. Because if it goes good, it's going good. But if it does, brother, did you practice this? Did you go over this in your notes? Like, were you practicing this? Like, or was it just spur of the moment? And half the time it's spur of the moment. But I believe practice is very important. But I don't stray away from being creative. I have a very creative mind, and sometimes, well, most of the time, I stray away from a lot of the structure. I like to experiment, and I mean that's cost me a lot, like I said, but I feel like practicing that, and I'm still trying to get a hold of that, and try to not be too spontaneous when I have an audience to please. Like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I believe practice is important, but being creative is.
Okay.
I just want to,
Okay.
piggyback off of what John was saying. I love that, the spontaneity. I don't have that. I am the most structured person that you will ever meet. And I mean that across the board. Like, you better not play that note. We didn't go over that. If I'm not going to stray from what I practiced, I'm not going to I think it's something to be said about that. Just having a good balance with the both. Just being structured and being spontaneous. I love that.
So, all of us, of course, we all went to Michigan State. We were all in the music department. When it comes down to rehearsals and preparing for performances, do you feel as though us having performance workshops helped us to develop that performance and rehearsal craft Do you feel like that was something that kind of prepared us for where we are now? Anybody can jump in.
I would say most definitely.
Can you ask that question again? I'm sorry.
You know, all of us being here at Norfolk State and going to Norfolk State, do you feel as though us having the opportunity to perform in performance workshop helped us to learn how to rehearse and how to prepare for a performance? And it helped us to, you know, get where we are now. And Denise, go ahead. She's like, yes.
We're all like in agreement because as a classical vocal performer and learning contemporary R&B soul, I did both. I did performance class where we had the accompanist and we had to learn our arias. It was very structured. Like Courtney said, we couldn't deviate too much. And then I had the liberty to performance workshop. And that actually was the first time I think where I really contributed like creative control over my stuff because I was so used to doing it like the other artists. And this gave me the chance to have fun with it, but I was scared. I was really scared because I was like, well, I don't sound like Janique. I don't have my set like Courtney, you know, and I don't have background singers like Margarita. So, you know, we had some dope performers. Like I still remember Courtney's performance and Ashley's, even though she, you know, I was leaving when she was coming, but I remember I didn't see John, but I remember Courtney did this Coco Bay. I'm sorry, y'all. Coco Bay did this set. I think she had like Jill Scott. It was fire, y'all. She had the lights, everything. So
yes,
I like
yes.
That thing was. I mean, that was like a concert in the band room. Like it was free for all, so you can just show up. So I would. But going back to what you said, Mr. Brown and Dr. Nixon, may she rest in peace. They made sure that when we came up on the platform, we were ready, and they would critique us. So I think not only that helped us performance-wise, that helped us also constructive criticism. And we received constructive criticism from my colleagues, from my peers. You know, somebody would say, oh, that was good. No, I wasn't feeling what you were doing on that bridge part. Like, what were you thinking? And it wasn't a time where they degraded us. But like I said, it was constructive criticism to make us better because what we hear and what we think we're doing may not translate to somebody else. So like Ashley, John, and Courtney said, you're catering to your audience. Like, I know my stuff is going to sound good. You know, I know it's going to sound great. I know it's going to resonate, but are you going to be convinced about it? So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, go ahead, Ashley, jump in.
Man, workshop. Wow. First of all, I just feel like as far as like the artistry side of myself, that's where it all began. Like, honestly. Shout out to Roger Brown. Lord have mercy. Thank God for that man. Because he was the person who actually taught me that the way I held a mic all my life was wrong. I grew up in the church, so we always hold the mic like this. You know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, take your hand off of the front of the mic. And I'd be like, yo, like, I feel like I sound good like this. What you mean? Take it off. And he would literally stop us in our performances and make us start over, right? And, you know, at first in the beginning, love you, Mr. Brown, but it used to get on my nerves because I'm just like, yo, like, you're taking me out of my zone. Like, but he's just like, that's not what it is. Like, you know, the industry, people look at little things that we may, you know, think that it's just nothing, but it's big. You know, it's like, okay, even Terry Butler. I remember one time I had a mic on a mic stand and I was holding my mic while I was on a mic stand like this. And he was like, people won't think you scared. And I was just like, what? Like, whatever. Like, and he said, you going to look like you scared, you know? And I'm just like, all right. He said, if you going to hold the mic, you know, caress it or something, like do something with it, but don't sit there looking all timid, you know? And I understood it. Well, I understand now. Then I didn't understand. So back to workshop. Yo, first of all, Coco Bay, you're Coco Bay now, but back then it used to be Courtney and Soleil, right? And let me tell you something. I used to be at Courtney and Soleil's rehearsals every night in the music building. Since we've all graduated, we can talk about it. We used to sneak into the music building that night after school hours. Okay. And we used to wait till they did that last little round to make sure that everything was locked up. But somebody was already on the inside, working on the outside, right? So, but and literally, I used to watch Courtney at the time. I used to watch her with the lights and everything. And this is when I was a freshman, right? So, freshman, we only had like 5 to 10 minute sets, right? Where though Coco Bay at the time, she's a senior, so she's doing her 20 minute to 30 minute sets and things like that. And I mean, if we're talking about great sets back then, you got Courtney and Soleil, you got Ashley Bynum, Tiffany Songbird, oh my gosh, like even if we just talk like BJ Brown, like I mean, I can name so Sereno, like if we're naming people, like just naming those workshops that stood out and you knew for a fact, like if it was their day to do it, you like yes, so workshop, once I finally was able to do my sets, you felt free. You felt free. You felt free. Like I can honestly say that way of working and grinding, like for a set, and mind you, you would think we thought to perform in front of thousands of people. And these are people that we see every day. We see these people literally every day. I mean, and when we're rehearsing, like we're really in the mindset, like, no, I want this set, I want this, boom, boom, boom. You get what I'm saying? And during that time, like it was like that. That's when you got workshop, you better bring it. If it was your day, you had people that would not go to class to come to your workshop, yo. Like you had to bring it. On Fridays, you knew it was up. It was Fish Fridays in the caf. You had to go to the little caf and get your little fish. You get what I'm saying? And then it was time for workshop, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it was. So workshop, I can honestly say again, thank you again, Mr. Brown. I don't know if he's watching or not. But just that was, I think, I want to say for all of us, that was when we knew, like, oh yeah, this is what I was made for. Like, this is okay. It's nothing. this is what it is. So.
Yeah, so we got Cassandra watching. She said, "Y'all remember Junebug said Junebug brought a whole Hammond organ.
We were in coach.
Full out worship.
Coaching
I remember that.
Praise break in the band room. Definitely did.
He turned it into church for real.
So I would just say like one thing for me with the workshop, not only did music majors come over, but people who were not music majors would come to workshop. It became a thing like you would come in like, who are y'all? Like, what you doing here? They would come in like people all over. And
let me tell y'all,
y'all changed the game.
I remember my freshman year, I had to do like one song. And so when I went to workshop and I did it's a Vivian Green song and I cannot think of the name of it. I know how it goes, but it was Vivian Green. And the just like feeling that I kind of felt, because I don't know if it was John or Denise, I don't know who said it, but somebody said you just feel free. And that was like my first experience of just like feeling like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, just like Ashley said, like this is definitely the thing for me to do. And from there on out, y'all, I'm talking about we had, when I went home for the summer and came back, I was like, okay, it's time to prepare for workshop. Like I'm thinking about my songs over the summer. I'm thinking about, we had flyers, we printed flyers and would put them in the parking lot. We would go to the big parking lot and put them on people's cars. Like my parents drove from PG County, Maryland to Norfolk State University every semester to hear my sets. Like it was definitely a big thing. Like what Will was saying, you would have thought it was the scope. Like we treated it like it was the thing to do. So just piggybacking off what everybody else said, I think Ashley said it best for us. Like Mr. Brown, we are just so appreciative.
That man.
Listen, of that class and just the friendships that it created, the confidence that it invoked in all of us.
Yeah.
The activity that we all got. I mean, like I remember I would be like, Mr. Brown, can you have the fog machine and and the lights?
Yes.
Like
can you bring the lights down? Yes.
He made it happen.
Can I look and see what else y'all got in there? Like I think we all were like that. Like, okay, what can we do? And then once it wasn't a competition by a long shot, but you wanted your workshop to be good. So you kind of were like thinking of like, you know, what you did last is just trying to make it better. And just, I don't know, inspire and feel free and create and just have the best time. Workshop is by far like one of the very best things that has ever happened to me.
And also, Mr. Brown created a space for us to be ourselves. Like, I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the very few professors who gave us liberty, do whatever you want to do. Just don't be degrading anybody, have any crazy lyrics, but you know what we couldn't do in other classes, we could do there. So again, Mr. Brown, thank you for creating that space for us, for letting us be ourselves, and just, you know, he was like the godfather to all of us.
Yeah,
definitely. It definitely was a safe space because a lot of people who were instrumentalists from the band, we were singing, performing workshop, and we was cool with it. Like that was our. I think I'm a singer, so I'm gonna sing a little bit. Even I was like, I'm gonna sing this workshop, y'all. I ain't gonna play it. It was that it felt like everybody was like, yeah, come on. Like it was home. Like that area was home for us. That was
it was one of those things where you be like, why didn't you do workshop? Like there were people who really failed workshop.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, how?
How do you do that? Yeah. That makes sense.
What are you doing? And then on makeup days, he'd be naming names. I'm like, you want me to sing? I can do it.
Okay.
I can play that game real quick.
Okay.
Right. It got to the point where you want to go. Can I go again? Well, I got a little extra question performance. Extra credit. You need me to go.
Man, I remember
outfit changes.
I was about to say outfit change.
Yeah.
That was serious, y'all.
It was it
all night. All you smell is hair from sweat on my head, curl in the head,
that oil.
What I would say is performance workshop.
What do you say,
John? I honestly think though that performance workshop gave us that room to thrive.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
I said, oh yeah. Agreed.
I said, I feel like that performance workshop gave us that room to thrive, to like do our own thing. We experiment and figure out, like y'all said, what our niche is, where we're supposed to be, and explore our creative abilities, and to just go higher in what we already would do with. I feel like between that before they canceled shop, between that and concert choir, that just elevated everybody because I mean Doc just playing OBCs and everybody, and that just elevated us, and I love it. I called him the other day. I said, "Yo, I wouldn't even made it if it weren't for you, for real. If I wouldn't went to Norfolk State and I wasn't in concert choir, I would never made it because I wouldn't have had that vocal training. You know what I'm saying? I made it to The Voice the first time without you, and you see I didn't make it. And then the second time, having 3.5 years of training with you and legato and all of that, you know what I'm saying? And like you teaching me everything, how to sing and really just like maneuver your voice, I would have never made it. Sorry.
And I think another thing with workshop is it helped us to see.
We hold the green gold, like we legit.
We were able to see like raw talent. So I know like Courtney, you and
what you say?
We were able to see like raw talent, like a freshman coming in, they perform, and you like, oh yeah, you want to be in my band? Like I'm about to pull you in. They come in there playing. Like, you know, like Marquis' first workshop, he came in there and blew us out on the sax. And we was like, dang, like, you know, like people, Briscoe on trumpet, Mac Jones, like those guys came in as freshmen, like playing. And even the first time we heard Ashley come in.
Yeah.
And we was like, oh, who
was that? Who was that woman in that little voice?
Who is this?
Listen.
Where y'all get her from? And even with Ashley, it was what was it, the Corn Festival?
We got 4 ghosts on the tube right now.
Yeah, y'all here. Y'all are here. And even like with Ashley, Baltimore City College came to perform, I think, one year at the Core Festival. I don't know if it was my freshman year, but she sung a solo. And we was like, who is that girl? And then the next year you came and it was like, oh, that's the girl who sung the solo right there. Who is that chick? She smashed and Wilder. And we was like, who is this girl? Like, this high school kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
she smashed.
Yo, that is
Ashley voice is
funny.
so
I forgot we came here.
So it was like the Voices concert and
What do you
stuff
say?
like that. I feel as though our
Yes.
experience here was
Praise God.
Josh really prepared us with discipline, y'all, too. I just want to say, he
Listen.
really, if it wasn't for him, look, you had 24 hours, if that, to have a line, like a song
What?
memorized. Then when he call you by your fruit groups, apples, and peaches
Man.
and grapes, you better have that stuff memorized. You ain't going on tour. You going to tour? You ain't
Let
going
me
to
tell you
tour.
something. Listen, I literally, I think Courtney and I have the I'm sorry, Coco Bay and I, we have these conversations on the regular, and we talk about. I be like, yo,
Denise,
you know,
the
we
thing
learned
about
like
it is, though,
5 different
what I
songs
love
in
about
different
Doc is,
languages in one day.
oh, my bad.
Oh, you good? I was just saying, like, we used to talk about, like, you know, yo, we literally learned like 5 different songs within a day or a week in different languages and had to know them the next day.
Yes.
Like the next, and I mean, I ain't talking about know them a little bit. I'm talking about be checked off the next day. Like you had this song for 2 weeks, 2 months. Okay, my first check off was with In Paradisum on Wilder Stage, and I bombed it. When I say bombed it, I bombed it. Like I didn't know my part. I bombed it right before it was doing sound check. I bombed it, and to be honest with you, I didn't get fussed out, and I think that's what kind of got me because it was his silence that just. It was one of those things like you see how everybody's face was. It was just like, and I'm a freshman. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming in from one of the top high schools. You know, you know, the vets there are people who I grew up under. So it's just like, all right, you know, and people already looking at me like, you know, this little girl came from City College. You know, City College students is known, Maryland students is known, and you know, in the concert choir or whatever. And I when I say bombed it, I bombed it. I bombed it, and he didn't fuss at me. He just looked at me. He said, "Okay." And it was just one of those things where it was just, I said, never again. I will never feel that way. I would never feel that way again. Mr. Butler, he just looked at me and just kept doing this. That's all he kept doing. He just said, I'm disappointed, Miss Felder. I'm disappointed, Miss Felder. And I just was like, if you could play violins, like, as I was walking, that's what you, literally. Yeah, my bad, John.
John, you was gonna say something?
Let's go.
This video might be delayed a little bit.
Say it again.
You want to say something?
I was saying, my bad. I know you was about to talk.
I was saying the thing. No, I was saying the thing about Doc was teaching us the meaning behind the music. He was teaching us the word structure and what it really meant at the time that it was printed, at the time that it was made. You know, and I can't even on my hands how many times I've cried singing a piece that Doc taught me because I understood what it meant and like I said, the weight it held. Like I would get so emotional sometimes because I understand the time and all time. The weight in me, man. Like sometimes I'm gonna be real. Sometimes we would just do one about this song and why you need to get right. And you know what I'm saying? Like I enjoyed that about the whole experience in Norfolk State because it was genuine. It wasn't just okay, I'm learning music, I'm a beast, da 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 da, whatever, second or third. But it was like I'm learning how to be a better person. I'm learning. You can't never take that away from me. I'm sorry. Like that's it. That's just like undescribable. Like what he put inside my heart. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful.
He taught us to have a relationship, like John said, with the music, but you can tell Doc walked, lived, and breathed everything he taught us. I've never seen someone so attached to the music like that, especially teaching us and molding us into shaping those minds. And sometimes he would sit back and y'all know he would just hit his chest like that. Like, you know, and that's how and I learned over time when he would scold at us or whatever, it was from the heart because he saw the greatness in us and was just bringing that out. And so now I still see myself in the choir room sometimes doing things that Doc had instilled in us. I hear his voice. Now take a step back, whatever, isolate yourself and really become one and just add all the details into it. So Doc and Mr. Butler, we're so grateful for you too. We're so blessed if you're listening.
Yeah, we are. I think another thing to piggyback on, that's my dog. To piggyback on what you guys have been talking about with Doc and Mr. Butler, they also kind of showed us that it's possible to travel with music, like to travel and perform and sing. You don't have to be confined to just the area that you live in or, you know, just your city. You can tour and do music. You know what I mean? Oh, that's good. It's about
That's my aunt.
Creativity. Okay, hey auntie. Yes, it's true. I mean, they honestly gave us the foundation, and I was thinking back to what everybody responded to was saying how their rehearsal is, like how rehearsal is for all of us, and I can see a lot of Doc and Mr. Butler in how we all rehearse and prepare for performances. So thanks, guys.
So
one more thing about concert choir. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to say the places that I have been to, I would have never, never if it wasn't for the choir. Literally, like being able to know what touring is and all of that, being able to wake up and we hitting like 20 schools in one day. You get what I'm saying? And being able to live the life on the bus, you feel me? Going to different states and all of that. But beyond that, like he really taught us, like, you know, of how it goes. We got our little stipends. I mean, good stipends, okay? Like got us stipends, and I mean, we're living life, you know. He made us responsible and accountable for ourselves. Here's the itinerary. This is what it is. Be on the bus at this time. Be in your room at this time. You have free day this day. You know, we have a concert this day. Like he treated us as adults. You know, it wasn't a holding your hand and babying you. If you wanted to be there, you would do what you needed to do to stay there, not be there. Because you can right. What do you say? You can register for the class all you want. I determine whether you stay, right? So you had to do what you needed to do. And again, like just the business side of the industry part, like watching him just get all of those things together, like, you know, and just making sure that it's just amazing how everything just went smoothly. I mean, seriously, like, and of course there are things that goes on in the background, of course, that we won't see, but it went smoothly. And it inspires you because it's just like, okay, you can do it, you know, like, so I'm sorry, just brings back memories. I'm appreciative. Seriously, I really am.
You are good. So the next thing, because we're starting to wrap up, major performances. So any major performances that y'all have done, you know, just talk about a few of your major performances Ashley, no, definitely your major performance. You performed at the Jazz Festival, and it was so dope. So could you talk about that experience a little bit?
Okay, I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, I was saying major. I was like, one of your major performances where you performed at the Jazz Festival, and it was
Oh yes.
so dope. So can you talk about like that experience for you?
Yes. Not even being churchy, I thank God, seriously. Literally, because that is something that will be a memory that I can, it's like I really don't have a lot of words for it. Like it's amazing. So honestly, the way that it happened, I was asleep one day, right? I was asleep, and somebody had reached out to me and was just like, hey, one of your frat brothers is trying to get your information. And I was like, who? And they was like, Ike. I said, Ike Owens. I said, give Uncle Ike my number. Like, go ahead and give him my number. I thought he already had it. So I had a rehearsal here at church. And I think we decided to cancel it or something like that. So I took a nap, right? And I told him I would talk to him afterwards. And he was calling my phone. I was like, let me just answer. Like I was like, okay, let me just answer, right? So I answered and I was like, what's up, Uncle Ike? And he was just like, what are you doing right now? He said, I know you wanted to talk at a later time, but I need to talk to you. And I was just like, okay. He was like, guess who's wanted to perform at the Hampton Jazz Festival. So I was like, who? And he was like, you. And I was like, what? And I woke up and literally my heart was like this, right? And let me tell you how it was a blessing to me, because the year before I went, and when I went, Jasmine Sullivan was there, Charlie Wilson was there, and I was watching and I was looking on the stage and I was like, I'm gonna be on that stage one day. Like I just kept looking. I was like, man, I'm gonna be on that stage one day. Like I'm gonna do whatever I need to do it, right? And even when I said that, I didn't really kind of stick to my word. It was just one of those things, like, you just putting it out there. And when he said it, I just kind of looked at my phone, like, and I got up and I'm like, I know you lying. Like, you get what I'm saying? And he was just like, no, we had a meeting, your name was pitched out there. He was like, and they want you. Like, what you trying to do? And I was just like, yeah, we do whatever. Don't nobody, no, I ain't worried about none of that. Just say yes. You know what I'm saying? Just say yes. Just say yes. And once he told me that, and he was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Boom, boom, boom. Like, this is how this is going to go. And all of that. I couldn't tell anybody. So I'm sitting there and I'm pacing. Like, I'm walking around like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Like, like I'm sitting there like really like so happy. And usually when something great happens, the first person I usually call is my mother. Like, I couldn't even tell her. So I'm just sitting there like, ooh, I'm about to have an anxiety attack, right? But then instantly something just changed and I'm like, boom, like, let's get to work. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's get to work. And that evening he was just like, just let it melt in. And then leading up to that, we had conversations almost every day, just how things were gonna go. And then he was like, just put it out there. Typically locals don't open on the opening night. They usually do it maybe on that Sunday evening. He was like, but you're actually opening for it. And I was like, oh, on Saturday? He was like, no, Friday night, you are the opening act for the Hampton Jazz Festival. And I was just like, wow. So that even just made me just be like, you know what? Let's go. Like, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. Like, let's go ahead and get this done. And so then I started thinking about what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to sing, like, what we're going to do. Like, I got to put some merchandise out. I got to do this, got to do that. And something came upon me and just was like, relax and enjoy the moment. I enjoyed the moment. And him and I were talking. He had me the entire time. I mean, shout out to Ike Owens. He had me the entire time. And we were talking, we were meeting. And then it was just press interviews, having interviews with this, having interviews with that. And I'm just like, oh my God. Right. And then finally he was okay, you need to talk to your band, see what's going on, talk to my band just to make sure. And I'm just like, guys, you can't tell nobody, but this is what's going on. So everybody's excited and we're trying to hold this in. We started having rehearsals, started seeing like, what we wanted to do. And so we'll say we'll do certain things and like, nah, we're not going to do that. Then we'll say, let's do this, let's do that. And then finally, once the announcement was made, it's when it really kind of like really hit, like it settled in, and actually, I don't know why I keep saying I was asleep, but when they actually announced it, I didn't make it. Like I wasn't up to like listen for it. I was asleep again. And Uncle Ike called me and was just like, "Yo, did you hear your name on the radio?" And I was like, "They announced it." And I'm jumping up and jumping up and down. I'm getting all of these calls, I'm getting all of these texts, and then I'm finally able to tell my mom, tell my friends, tell my family what's going on. I'm like, "All right, you got to get your tickets like this." Boom, boom, boom. Told my church, shout out to Grove Church, VA. They really, really supported me heavy. I mean, everybody was trying to find ways to buy tickets. They were announcing it over the pulpit. I mean, my family and friends, once I put it out there, everybody was just posting, posting, posting. So then it got to the point where I was just like, "Dag, like I love the support." But then it was like, "All right, Ashley, like you gotta bring it." Like at this point now, like you got to bring it, and I had moments where like at first I felt like I wasn't good enough. If that makes sense. I felt like it's like, all right, cool, I got it, I got it, I got it. Because at that time, yes, I have original music, but as an average artist or the mainstream artists, how they have all their mainstream music out and things like that. At that moment, I only had one single out. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, are these people even gonna like me? Like, they don't even know who I am." And it's like, okay, it's different if you're opening the second night because somebody already did it. But for you to kick it off, it's like, yo, you literally set the tone for the rest of the festival. So you either can do great or you can bomb it. And I just kept going through that moment. And then I finally was just like, you know what? You were built for this. Like, let's do it. And I started thinking about what I wanted to wear. I had different styles in my mind of what I wanted to do. And I was like, yeah, I actually wore this hat, actually. Had different styles in my mind and all of that. And I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And I literally prayed to God throughout the entire process. And I just was like, "God, like, I really need your guidance." I was like, this is something that you've laid out for me, not because of me, but because of what you've given me. So I need you to guide me and hold my hand through this process. Like, I want you to get the glory out of it, no matter what genre it is. So through that, everything that I was looking for, what I envisioned, what I wanted to wear, literally, he placed it in front of me, like literally, like placed it in front of me. I didn't go through a struggle of trying to find things. What I said I wanted, it started coming up that way. Rehearsals, it was fun. I mean, it was a good time. Like, I put up a video on Instagram. It's on my page, like just of the process of getting to that moment. And it was sometimes was a little frustrating at times, but others were really, really great moments. And then finally that day, I was actually late. The band was actually late to sound check. And I'm not saying like 20 minutes late, like we were like a whole hour late because traffic was crazy and something was going on, like with they closed one of the tunnels or something or bridges, and we were on there for a long time. So I'm panicking at that moment because I'm like, they don't know who I am. I'm an opening act. I'm late. Ike is blowing up my phone. At this point, it goes from nice Ike to get your blankety blank here now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, this is manager moment at this moment. He like, "Hey, yo, y'all need to get here now." Like, they don't even know who you are. And I'm just like, all right, I'm coming. And then when we finally got there, it was literally, we got there and we ran on stage. And the first thing he said to me was, he was like, "You good?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Sure?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Breathe. It's okay. You here now." So I'm looking at him like, "Nigga, you just you just fussed at me to hurry up and get here." And now you telling me to relax. And he was like, "Once you step foot on that stage is when you create that picture." He was like, "So you got it. You're here." Did that. Sound check was cool. We went in the back. The dressing room was huge. I think we were right next to Tamia. I think so. Um, and then once it was time for us to perform, honestly, like I've never had that feeling before in my life. Um, it was, it, I don't know how to even explain it. My mom and my aunt came. A lot of us came, but my mom and my aunt, they go from Baltimore. And it just really, really good to have that, support system. Um, it felt good. And my friends were there. Kobe was there, like all my friends were there. My family was there. My friends and family were watching from home. They were sending videos to those who were not able to be there. And afterwards, it just literally like all that process was real long. But once we actually performed, it went just like that. So I'll just say overall, that was one of the greatest times of my life. It let me know that this is what I was called to do in a nutshell.
Dope. All right, so Denise, let's talk
Can you all
about
hear
you.
me? Am I lagging? Like, I don't know what's going on with the signal.
Oh no, we're good.
Can't hear you again.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can't hear.
Yeah, we're lagging a little bit.
Let me.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear anything.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah. We can. So what I was going to say is, Denise, let's talk about you and any major performances that you have done.
So, wow. I guess one major one was when I opened up for Stevie Wonder at the Scope, and a lot of the sentiments Ashley was talking about was how I felt. So it was a chain of events leading up to that. So I graduated. I'm about to share my age. I graduated in 2012. Supposed to be 2010. So Maurice, he did some things on campus as far as like student activities. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he came up to me and he said, "Do you know somebody who sings classical music that can sing the national anthem for a specific event going on downtown Norfolk?" And so I was thinking, I was like, well, I can do it. So I was like, yeah, I sing opera, duh. And so, that's me telling myself, girl, go ahead and take it. So I told him, and come to find out, that was at the Half Moon, and that was for past Attorney General Joe Biden's son. And around this time, they were gearing up, the Democratic Party was gearing up for the second re-election of President Obama. So they were doing a lot of things here in the area around that time to really get people, excited, traction, marketing, a whole bunch of things. So this event was kind of like the start of that. That was in May, like right after graduation. So I sing there. And after me singing the national anthem, I was like, okay, this is nice, whatever. They had press there. And I met this Black girl. I'll say Black girl because a sister's working in politics is amazing. And her name was Daria. And she came up to me and she said, "You have a beautiful voice. Would you mind opening up for another event?" Now, when she told me this, like Ashley said, we can't disclose information. So I didn't know exactly what the event was until like 2 days before. And so she said, "I need you to be at Indian River High School to open up for President Bill Clinton and President Barack Obama." So I was like, okay. She said, "You can't tell anybody." So I was like, okay, I won't say anything. Of course, I tell my mom because I got a big mouth with her. So, but she doesn't tell anybody. But to have that excitement, like Ashley said, it's like it's invigorating. And so I think that was around like a month later or like a couple weeks later. So first of all, me being from Portsmouth, I didn't know anybody who did something like this. President Obama coming into the area to have events to talk to people. So I went to Indian River High School. He didn't necessarily hear me sing. It was like the pre-program. So he came in like a couple, like probably 15 minutes afterwards. But it was just great to sing, the national anthem, yada, yada, yada. So fast forward, there is one last event that is announced. Stevie Wonder is going to be in the area to do a free concert for the campaign election for President Obama. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I wish I could do this, because I said Stevie Wonder to me was like the first person to introduce me to songwriting. And I just love the way he tells his song, he tells a story with his songs. So I've always been a Stevie Wonder fan. So I said, I have to be at the concert. But I said, Lord, if it sure will, hopefully I get to, open up because it was from the same campaign organization. So I didn't hear anything. I think the campaign night was Thursday night. So at the time I was working at a credit union. So I was slated to work that evening. That morning, Daria calls me. She was like, I think I was about to head to work. She said, "What are you doing tonight?" I said, "I'm working, but I can take off if need be." She said, "I need you to open up for the concerts. The person who was slated to open up, something happened, so they need a backup person. I put your name in. Can you do it? I said yes. I'll let my supervisor know I have an emergency. So I went into work and I told my supervisor, I was real with her. I said, I'm opening up for Stevie Wonder, so can I please get off tonight? She was like, yes. You know, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to get off, but I just knew the Lord was going to work and do that miracle for me. So, so we have to get there at like a certain time. And, you know, initially just thinking about it, you know, I always wanted to perform at the Scope, being from the area. It was a stage, a platform. You know, I said one day, you know, like Ashley said, one day, like when she went to the Hampton Jazz Fest the year before she performed, she spoke into existence. I'm going to perform on that stage, whatever way possible. And that's what I thought about when it came to the Scope, because that's like our major venue here. So I get there and you know, I see Daria, I see everyone. And she just preps me, because this is my first time, you guys, on a stage like this. And this is thousands of people. It's supposed to be televised. So I'm like low key, feel like I'm about to throw up too. So I'm like, okay, Denise, just do what you got to do. Just pray, just be yourself, and just look ahead, look over. And so fast forward to that night, I had a friend of mine come, my baby sister and my friends, they came like to be this good support system. And when I tell you, when I'm on the stage, naturally, I feel like I'm at home. I get butterflies before I go on stage, which I think is good. But once I'm actually singing, like just relaxing, I think about, you know, I just think about everyone. We're a family. We're all just enjoying this together. That was the first night I think I was really nervous. I was feeling like really jittery. So throughout the performance, you know, and the Rockets, red glare. I think I was about to choke up, but I said, Lord, take it over, God, take it over. So I finished successfully. That wasn't the highlight though. The highlight was I went backstage, and technically Stevie wasn't trying to see people, but I said, I'm going to see my man before I leave tonight. Okay. I'm going to get an autograph or something with him tonight. I just wanted to tell him how much he meant to me as a singer. And so we go backstage. I bring my little sister, and his manager was out there. And I said, you know, I really want to talk to him. Is it possible? He said, well, I don't know. He's about to leave. And so I'm standing there because I said, I'm not going to let anybody like tell us we can't leave. So as he's coming out, I think somebody had asked me to sing something. Somebody from his band had asked me to sing something. So he hears my voice and he was like, was that the girl that was singing the national anthem? And I was like, oh my God, yes. You know, I was like, Stevie, you could, you know, you remembered that, you heard that. And so he came up to me and he took my hand and he was like, your voice is so beautiful. Can you please sing me a song? Sing me whatever song you want to sing, whatever operatic song you want to sing. So he wanted to hear opera. So I sing, of course, the standard soprano aria, O mio babbino caro, and I trip up on the second line. But I'm like, you know, I'm just in that moment, just really marinating everything that's going on and taking it in. And at that moment, too, I just want to say celebrities are just like us. They're normal people just like us. And when it's two musicians, two artists connecting, it's a sense of camaraderie, I sense. Like, I know the language you're speaking, and that's what I felt from him. So afterwards, you know, he told me, I want to sing opera with you one day. I said, are you for real? Are you for real? That's why I said, you for real, Stevie? Don't lie to me. And he said, he was like, no, he said, tell my manager. He said, do you have any cars on you? And, you know, back then cars were heavy. So I gave him one card. He said, no, make sure I get like 3 cards. So that was in 2013. I haven't heard back from Stevie yet. So I was like, all right, you know, Lord be with him. One day we're gonna make it happen now. But that was it was beautiful. That was the highlight of my night, connecting with him. And I just want to say the universe, I'm a Christian, so I'll say God and the universe work together miraculously to bring things into fruition that you dream about. So if you have a dream or a goal, like Ashley and myself, we made it a goal to say we're going to perform here, we're going to do this, that, and the third. Believe it, because it's going to happen. And it may not be the way you think it's going to happen or how somebody else did something, but know for sure that it's in the cards for you to, well, it's destiny for you to go where you need to go. So that's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so last one, Coco Bay. Any major performances?
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I just love y'all stories. Like I feel so captivated listening to everybody. Like, oh my God, really that happened? But yeah, so back when I was at Norfolk State for homecoming, we had Layla Hathaway come down, excuse me, and sing I think she sang the national anthem, but she also performed at halftime. And so Dr. Nixon, again, rest her soul, she kind of like recruited a few of us to sing background for Miss Hathaway. And it was one of the best experiences ever. She came to the campus. Janice, I think, weren't you there too? Yeah, we sang together.
Yeah.
So she came to the campus. She came in the choir room. She taught us her music. Like, she came in the choir room and taught us her music. She played. She listened to us. Like, we had like a mini talent show. And like we all got to sing with her and, you know, just sing whatever, a song of our choice. She was just the sweetest. And just the fact that she embraced us, and she, like Denise said, she's a celebrity, but she's a human. She's a person. And she obviously had more experience, or has more experience than us, especially at that moment in the industry that most of us that were singing background for her desired to be in. So she kind of gave us that confidence, gave us just like little nuggets to kind of ponder on. She was very personable. She was just really sweet. And getting on the field, although we were singing for our peers and people that we see every day, it was just a different type of feeling getting to be behind her and then also singing with the legendary Legion. So that was one experience. And then the other experience is a few years ago, I received a message on Facebook from someone that I didn't know, saying that I was referred to them by someone. And they asked if I could sing the national anthem, like Denise said. If I could sing the national anthem, I'm like, sure. So this particular event was a sports event. It was for arena football. The Baltimore Brigades is the name of the team. So I got to sing at the arena in Baltimore. And that was just so much fun. And then from there, I got to sing at what was then the Verizon Center, but now it's called the Capital One Arena in DC, which I have a similar story of. That's like the venue that I go to for concerts and for whatever other types of events. There's an event that we have here every year called For Sisters Only. And me and my mom and my aunts and my cousins, we go every year, or at least at the time we had been going every year, and there would be performers there. And then I would go see anybody in concert that came to DC pretty much would go to the Verizon Center. And so that was like a dream of mine. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sing at the Verizon Center. One of these days, I'm going to be there. So y'all better watch out, because I would be at the Verizon Center. Woo, woo, woo. And lo and behold, I got to perform the national anthem there. And the anthem was for the Washington Valor. That's the name of the football team. And the lights were really low, and I had to stand at the side of the stage, or the side of the field is what they had it at the time. And one of the ladies, instructed me to come over. She told me where to stand, and she gave me the mic, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, come on over, girl. They're going to say, I think they did the color guard." So they were like, "Okay, we're going to do the color guard. And then whatever they say, then that's your cue to come over, and you stand right here and you take it away." So I'm like, okay. And so I was so excited, but I was so scared. And I don't typically get too scared, but I was super, super nervous, but also excited. I think it's like the good kind of nervous, like just jittery nervous. So the color guard did their thing, and it was my turn to walk up on the field. I walked up, you know, I took my little stance, took me a little deep breath, and I went forth. And so the crazy thing is there is a part in the anthem, and I want to say that there is the military, I don't know what branch of the military it is, but like they do this scream that is like, I want to say is it in the Rockets Red Glare? I don't know where it is, but they do this scream, and the scream, when I say threw me off, but thanks to good old Doc, thanks to Butler, like I was like, okay, the show must go on. Like, do not turn around, don't give it any attention, just keep going. Like, and I was thinking, okay, well, what if the building is on fire? What if like I gotta get out of here? Like, but I'm just like, okay, if something is wrong, then you're gonna see people running, then you just, you know, go forth. But I had just kept on going. And then afterwards, one of the football players, you know, ran up to me before the game. This is right before the game. He ran over to me. He was like, excuse me. He was like, man, that was beautiful. He said, I've been playing football, you know, for forever. And we stand through the national anthem before every game. Ever heard, you know, anything like that before. And he was like, wonderful job. And, you know, it just gave me, again, another boost of confidence. It gave me confirmation that this is something that I'm supposed to be doing, because a lot of times, you know, it gets discouraging and you kind of get a little weary, and you kind of can like feel like, okay, I don't know if I should be doing this, especially when you're not getting responses, when you're not getting, you know, whatever things that you want to get. It gets discouraging. And so to just kind of like hear that and see, and you know, see the response that I was getting from there, I was like, okay, I did good by the audience, I did good by myself, you know, and let's just keep it moving. So yeah.
Cool. Well, thank y'all so much for joining tonight for the Spartan Connections. I really enjoyed myself. This was a lot of fun. Kind of like what Denise said and Courtney, we haven't seen each other in a long time. Prayerfully this year there are talks about homecoming, so we will get to link and you know, have a good time together. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Yes, thank you all for tuning in to the Spartan Connections, and we will see y'all at the next one.
Bye.
Love y'all.